What's up, guys? This is Hyce, and welcome to Office Hours for July 2025. It's July, right? I swear to God, I just made that title. And I adjusted the camera, but the camera has shifted. What else is new? Everything is in a bit of a state of flux. You'll note that there are very few things behind me. And you'll note in the title that it says it's the last stream in the old studio. And you'll note that I'm not as well lit as I typically am because my lights are packed. So we're just dealing with floor lights and situations. So 'tis the end of the month. It's the last of the things. Figured we might as well get one more stream in before it's all said and done. While I had a little bit of time, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off literally all day today, getting stuff put away and all that manner of thing. And I want my air conditioning on because it's hot. Anyway, yeah, it's been busy. I got back from a trip to Seattle to visit for my mom's birthday just this past yesterday. Was that yesterday? Time's fake. That was yesterday. I got back yesterday after being in Seattle for the weekend, and it was a great weekend, and it was a very fun birthday for my mom, which was awesome. And I was glad that I got to go. But all the things wrap up house-wise tomorrow. Knocking on wood over here. Knock on wood for me at home, if you would. And, I didn't mean that to be a pun like that. But anyway, we're going to answer your railroad questions today. This time with less lighting. Maybe if I... oh! That helps a little bit. Although there's a little bit of a strange shadow. It's fine. Whatever. You're going to have to deal with slightly worse production quality. Anyway, let me take a look, and I see that we've got a number of our lovely members here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ezekiel's here, everybody! We are 8 minutes and like 15 seconds in for those playing at home. Hi, Ezekiel. Good to see you. I see we've got several member notification chats other than Ezekiel just, taking the sledgehammer to the economy. So let's take a look at some of those. And then we've got still several pages of pre-asked questions. We'll be getting through it today. I've got about hour and a half-ish that I can stream, maybe a little bit more than that, so we'll see how we can do here today. From ZVK Studios 18, conductor 27 months, so it's been 3 years, eh? Do your years have 9 months in them? You're close to 3 years, and by close to 3 years, you're like 2 years, 3 months. You'll get there. We believe in you. Modius 7829, engineer 25 months. Look at me, ma. Gold lantern times fake. How's it going, Hyce? There are birds. There are birds on the way to my position. Cheers, my friends. More birds from Karoon. We'll get to you in the list. Good lord. 100 birds. 100 birds before the stock. Very good. Modius, we kind of went over how things are going. I'm trying to be full cockatoo while moving, but we're getting through it. Slowly but surely. Good to see you. Bandan. Bandan's at 3 years. Promptly. Fireman 36 months. Woohoo, 3 years. Here's to 3 more. And many more after. Yes, all of the train content for all of eternity. So yes, very excited. William Adams, conductor 19 months, wishing you all the best for the upcoming move. Hopefully the housewarming package has arrived. Ostpost stopped updating after Monday our time. Oh shit, was that what that was? I had 2 things in the mail, and I was like, box! And I tossed them in the box. One of them, no, it was a thing from eBay, because Jeff found me some SM3 detail parts that were really cheap. so I bought them. And I got my 00 gauge van from Lori, but I have not seen anything from you guys, so I guess we will we'll see when that happens. So I'll keep you apprised. I will still have access to this place, and my landlord is with the Railroad Museum, so if it arrives late, don't worry about it. I'll get it. So, but thank you, and thank you for being a conductor for 19 months. There's Ezekiel's 50 birds. We're finally caught up there. Trains and more random stuff. Engineer 25 months from the Jank Insurance Company. Good luck, Mr. Birdman, on the Wham Manufacturing Company. Thank you. Yes. That's not the exact name, but we'll get there one of these days. Karun 4 was the second set of 50 memberships gifted. Thank you so much, Karun. I don't... did you change your name? Your logo says Q. Wondering if you're somebody else, because I don't recognize your name. But thank you. Trainmaster something. You got your tickets for the RGS event on February 1st. See you there, Birdman. Yeah, I should be there, I assume, for all of the events. And I'm still hoping to announce more fun stuff in that vein sometime soon. We shall see when, but hopefully I'll see you there. On the line, 6708, engineer 13 months, Nanta switching, requesting to fly off the red marble. Godspeed. Oh. And more birds. Why, thank you. We'll get to those in a minute. Yes, fly off the red marble. Mr. Nick, Brakeman 5 months, only 5 months, take my money, sir. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. It is all of you crazy, crazy viewers, whether you're just a brakeman, whether you're just a viewer, or whether you're Ezekiel. And everyone in between. It is you guys who support me and make this a reality on my end, so very much appreciate that. Heard of UP and NS's marriage, and I was just wondering, do railroads really need to merge to stay competitive with truck companies anymore? Don't they have intermodal trains? They certainly argue that they do. And trucks still do a better thing, but the interesting challenge is that the reason that trucks are competitive is because trucks can deliver the things where they're supposed to go in one shot, and trains are really not good at that. So any of those arguments to me about, oh, well, the railroads need to merge to compete with trucking, it's like, well, no, you've got the kind of hub and spoke system of logistics, right? Like the reason that you can have an Amazon package at your house within 2 days is because they've got it in a warehouse very nearby you. That's how that works. It goes on a train first from the port or from wherever to that warehouse, and then local warehouse is the spoke connection that gets you your piece. And it feels like the class ones all kind of want to just be, hey, hub to hub, and they don't want to deal with anything else. So they don't really even compete with trucks. And trucks can never compete with that, because an intermodal train, 120 cars times 2 containers, 240 trucks. There you go, and that's one train, and you do trains on trains on trains on trains on trains. You know, they'll never compete in terms of the volume of stuff moved, but the truck can deliver it right where it needs to go. And railroads have been notoriously shit at first and last mile service. So I think that the big railroads are wanting to make more money off of that journey in the middle. So I think any of the competition arguments are a little bit of an excuse on my end, if I had to guess. But good question. Joe Man, 1437, engineer for 11 months. Gonna be weird not seeing this old room anymore, but that's life for you. We're all glad to have been a part of this journey for years so far, and looking forward to what comes next. Godspeed, Birdman. Thank you. If you've been watching the channel long enough, this is the second setup in this room, and it's the second studio room. If you look at some of the very early stuff, I was shooting at my place in Seattle before I moved from Seattle to Colorado for a second time. And so those videos looked quite different. So, and I had less gray hair. It's funny how that happens in, like 4 years. But anyway, time's fake. But very much appreciate you. There's Modius's set of birds. Thank you, Modius. Dave something. It doesn't show me full usernames. I'm sorry. Thanks for the $20. Hyce, I've heard you're coming to Chicago area to visit the IRM, possibly visit the Prairie Scale Model Railroad Club in September as well. Hope to see you at IRM. 3 new diesels are coming in the next day or two. Excellent. That's cool. I will be at the IRM for Showcase Weekend. I did get invited to come look at a Model Railroad Club. I don't know if that's going to work out, just because of timing and the way that everything shakes out. If I can, I will. But IRM for sure, Showcase for sure on that Saturday. If not some more time at IRM. We might also be bombing down to Monticello. So the Illinois Railway things are in my future here in almost next month, but not quite next month. A month and a half from now. Lord. Anyway, yeah, love to see you. Oh, you're probably the Dave that was part of the YouTuber tour group back at a year or two ago at the museum with Michelle, if I'm recognizing your username. I think we chatted a bit. Hopefully that's you. See if something is remembered properly in this wet noodle. I'm Amity. Welcome to the Engineers. Thank you. Very much appreciate that. Engineer tier members are the reason that I can do this. So, along with everybody else, of course, but supporting at the highest level, always appreciated. Train a Cat. Hey, Mark. The guys at Heritage Park want to know if they can custom order a Huber 6 and so how much it would be. I appreciate that. I think I got the email. Either that or there's 2 groups of people that are requesting this, because I got an email about this that I need to follow up on that I read just a bit ago. I'm not liable to build a second one. I'll give you dimensions if you want to make one. It doesn't chap my ass. I have heard of at least 2 more replicas of my replica at this point. So I mean, I would recommend that. I'm not ever gonna have the time or provenance to go ahead and make a second one. And it's not about making money, and I'm not in the whistle making business myself. So I appreciate it, but for money and for profit and for selling and all that stuff. So, but yeah. Lord of the Things, Fireman, 16 months. Stream reminded you to go fix your memberships and switching to a new card. Here's to staying shiny and green for the foreseeable future. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kyle Wee, 21. Brakeman, 23 months. It was nice to see you at the Train Mountain Railroad. The daylight steamed. Yes. I know who you are now. Excellent. I wish we could have seen it run, but seeing it turn a wheel at least once was pretty nice, even if it didn't get out on the track while I was there. That thing was gorgeous. Solaris, conductor, 10 months. So are we going to get a 7.5-inch gauge Montezuma alongside the 36-inch gauge one? Here's my big train. Here's my little train. No, I think we're going to do small, big train and big, small train. We were talking about it, and doing the bookends is very fun. Doing Montezuma as the first Rio Grande engine, and then either an M75, which was the last standard gauge Rio Grande engine, or 499 as the last narrow gauge engine. That's kind of what we're scheming about for 7.5-inch gauge. We're all a little bit partial to the narrow gauge, just for comfort reasons. It was a lot more comfy to ride and run Jimmy's K27, because you kind of have to balance a little bit otherwise, which you can do, of course, and there's nothing wrong with it. But 2.5-inch scale just kind of fits nice. So we might lean more towards 499, but it'd be fun. No one's done a 37 in live Steam yet, or at least in 7.5-inch gauge. So making a big Montezuma and a small Montezuma sounds a wee bit silly. Chef Tom, 6, brakeman or fireman, 2 months. It's going to be sad to say farewell to the old studio, but good luck and Godspeed in the move. Also, got 150 birds. The birds have been out in force today. Yeah, for real. So much appreciated, everybody. And it's gonna be sad to say goodbye to see. I'm sure for you guys seeing this space. I hate this space. I'm gonna be very excited to not be in this space anymore. So it's gonna be spectacular to have the new setup, and I'm very excited for when that gets to be a thing. But it'll be a minute, as with everything. So anyway, Steam Ton 122. Here's to the Hyce house. Lord Hyacinth reigneth. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciate the $100 as well. Yeah, closing tomorrow. It's kind of surreal. So it's not going to feel real until this is there, and then it's going to be really cool. So Portuguese something. Cut off your username. Sorry. If I start a business, it be by active railroads. Well, you could do that. It's not going to guarantee you have easy shipping access via the railroad, but you could at least see trains, so that's fun. Roaring Moon King, hey Hyce, a series I started watching called Survival Mode did an episode of the unscheduled station stop on the I-5. Oh lordy. Yep, it was a tragedy, so that's not terribly surprising that people have decided to cover it in media. Bring up the music a bit. Can barely hear it myself. Iron Train! Engineer 11 months, almost a year times fake. Anyway, going to get fun, getting pulled by 20 on the 9th. Hope to see you there. I should be there. It's going to be fun. Very excited for all that, so. Charmin Cat, Conductor 4 months. Another move, huh? Godspeed. Yeah, it's been 3 years since the last one. Can you believe it? Anyway, you were there in the first movement, okay, and you would have had your 3 years by now had your old account not grabbed itself. Anyways, BOL. YouTube is a challenge sometimes with accounts and things and such. So, thank you for the over 3 years, had YouTube not been stupid. Trainmaster something! RGS 20 with Huber 6 on February 1st. 20 will never wear the Huber 6. I annoyed the ever-living shit out of Jeff trying to get him to let me put it or the ACL 6 on. And I'm honestly proud of Jeff's commitment to his restoration and his refusal to do anything that is not correct. It's honorable. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it honorable and respectable? Also yes. So, you know, no, you're not going to see another whistle. It'll be her grand 5 or it'll be her single note. I imagine for some of the charters, we'll probably break out the single note, but it'll probably primarily be the rear grand 5, just not to wear out her single note. Knapford Master 98, yay house, why do some locos have the combination on the opposite side of the crosshead? Strasbourg 475, for example, any mechanical benefits? There's probably slight differences in the crosshead forces and such. I can't think of what 475's crosshead looks like on my head, or off the top of my head. Let's take a look. NNW 475. So she's got... Oh, this is a Reddit post. Let's see if we can just... I just want to see the image. Oh, it's a pretty high quality image. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Her combination lever's hella back there. Oh, and she's got Baker gear? Yeah, that's cool. But I'm sure you're talking about the pivot being where it is. Which, this is not a spectacular example to use. Or I guess RGS. If we take a look at 74 at the museum. Oh god. Can we get some more pixels in that image? Why are all these images no pixels? What they're talking about is whether the connection from the radius rod is above or below the valve crosshead, I believe, if I had to guess. I'm not 100% certain that's what you're asking about. But it just changes whether, depending on how your crank is set up, and depending on how your gear is set up and everything, it could just be indirect versus direct versus, you know, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's just another way to skin the cat. Like, there's not a huge difference. You have some differences in the moments that are there, but by and large, it doesn't make a huge difference. You just design it for what it's going to do. If you've got your eccentric leading or trailing the main rod versus is your radius rod going down or up for forwards, whether it's indirect, direct, inside admission, outside admission. That was the other term I was trying to think of. That's kind of what you're looking for, and that can change because obviously if you have something that's on this side of the lever versus that side, it's going to change the throw and everything. So basically, why an actual L and not a backwards L? Okay, so specifically on the Norfolk and Western 475, I'm sure it's just a positioning thing on that engine, because she's got a lot of drivers crammed in a small space. Open the image in a new tab. There we go. Let us zoom in. So she's got a super long crosshead, and then her valve gear support with the way that the frame ties in is pretty far back. So she's got a long valve crosshead as well. And so for all intents and purposes, this lever right here, this is translating the same amount as this, basically. These guys are going to move in unison as they swing around this link here. So rather than, oh, I see. Oh, you're talking about this instead of running straight forwards. Oh, that is kind of weird. I don't know why they did that. It must have been a clearance thing, maybe, if I had to guess. My gut says that when this is all the way forwards, if it kicked that far forward, you'd run into the cylinders. I guess for whatever the amount of lap and lead they desired, they needed that length of union link. I'm sure they got to change something else to achieve it. I mean, it's a game of solving the puzzle, right? But if you think about this being flipped and being out here and then being at the front edge of the shoe here, you'd be far into the cylinder casting. So that wouldn't work. But they probably could have changed the leverage ratios and adjusted that, but it's probably based on they had to pick this because of the driver size and where the valve gear hanger ended up being. It's just a game of you've got so many variables and you nail them down, and okay, there you go. That is kind of interesting, though. I'd never actually noticed that the union link runs back instead of forward, which other engines have set up differently. Yeah, it's just one of those many ways to skin the cat kind of thing. Good question. 300-pound baseman. Happy, joy. Thank you for being a conductor for 35 months, Williams. Good to see you. Gary M4B, I think that's how you pronounce that. Engineer, 13 months. Cheers to the new house. If you had to sacrifice a preserved loco for one that was scrapped or not preserved, what locos would you choose? Oh, man. If we could do one for one, a preserved to not preserved, you'd just scrap some piece of shit like a Cagney or something, and then you'd pick, like a New York Central Hudson, right? It's not a terribly fair trade, but if it's just a loco for a loco, I'm just saying, that would be the way to do it. If you had to scrap something that was more proportionally similar, ooh. If you had to do it by like weight or proportion to make it actually be similar, here's a bit more spicy of a take. I would have scrapped one of the K36s for a T29. Yeah, that's the fire that I'm gonna spit right there. Yeah, because I don't know if anyone's seen the T29. It's the best looking standard gauge engine, you ask me. So anything more than that, it starts to be a travesty for scrapping something so big. But here's a T29 Rio Grande standard gauge 10-wheeler. Like, come on. It's just a good looking engine. But yeah, If it's just one engine for one engine, scrap a Cagney, get a New York Central Hudson. Oh, I see I have some friends in Discord chat that we could have been talking to this whole time.
Qualifying in Russell, so...
Hey, Johnny. Hey, Midland. Sorry, I didn't realize you guys were in here.
Yep. Hi, how are you?
Doing good. We're trying to get... The top chats are outpacing me today, which is a good problem to have. Everyone's being very kind today.
Well, given the news of this being the last in the old studio...
It very well... barring unforeseen circumstances, knocking on wood, this will be the last stream. This will be the last thing I produce in this space, probably.
Holy cow!
Which is kind of wacky. So
that is wacky.
Yeah.
So a little advice on closing, as somebody who's been through it before.
I've been through it before.
Well, you have, yes.
Yeah, I did. I did own a house
last time you
once
went
before.
through it, did it take 15 minutes?
No, it took about 50. Yeah, you start to get carpal tunnel after the 50th signature on some random esoteric thing that you don't really care what it says because you have to sign it to buy the house.
Exactly. Mine took 15 minutes, 3 initials, and 1 signature.
Well, that's not fair. Mine's going to be a lot of paperwork.
Mine is already, because I'm in the process of buying a house right now.
Oh, nice.
And it is freaking being a killer because I've had to have 3 home inspectors come out, and luckily I'm not paying for them, but...
Oh, wow.
But the home inspectors I had to have come out all had to come out for different reasons because one wasn't certified in one thing, the other one wasn't certified in another thing, and then that last one was the last one I had to get.
That be the way it is. I'm super fortunate that my realtor is a train guy. He used to volunteer with some of the CNS operations back in the day, in the 80s up at Central City, and he is a great dude and he's plugged in. So we had an excellent inspector, who, I mean, he did everything but pull the drywall up. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And then he gave a ridiculous, like, couple 100-page report, and every little thing was categorized. So, I'm in good hands, thankfully. But goodness, yeah. Sometimes, anytime that stuff goes kind of sideways on that sort of stuff, man, that could be an ordeal. So I'm sorry to hear that you had to deal with that. All right, I gotta keep crushing through these top chats because they are outpacing me.
Oh, Lord.
Slandered Stone, Fireman 28 months, congrats on getting a house mark. Don't know what else to say, but hope everything is going well. Cheers. Thank you. Yes. I know that I had DMs from you and from Mainland Through the Rockies about the Burnham stuff. Yeah. All of the news was annoying yesterday, so and then I was traveling, so I read it and then left you on red. My bad, but thank you. Dogboy, thoughts on UP cough, the Rio Grande cough, consuming NS, or will there be a video about it? I don't know if I want to do a video about it. I've been hemming and hawing on this.
Can I throw my cents in on this?
Yes, you can, by all means.
I do not think the federal government will allow it.
Well, it does have to be approved by the Surface Transportation Board still. And
yep.
We'll just have to see how that goes, but they approved CPKC. So,
yes,
shrug.
But this you got to realize there's only 2 competitions in the eastern United States, which is NS and CSX. You get rid of NS and make it transcontinental, CSX is just going to plummet.
Well, there's still only 2 in the east. It's just UP instead, and they also go west.
Yeah, but they would be transcontinental, which would put a deficit on CSX because they couldn't keep up with the prices that UP would offer.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. Personally, I hope it doesn't end up happening. And we talked about it a little bit earlier because it's just another move for the Class 1s, just trying to be focusing on being the hub-to-hub connection. They don't want to really serve customers. They want to just move bulk freight and do easy mode and not be a railroad. And they say that it'll improve speeds, and what it really will do is axe a bunch of people's jobs and remove terminals. And
sorry to pop in unannounced.
It's not great.
So, yes and no. There's already been a statement put out to all the NS employees that if it does happen, the only people that might be affected were the ones right near the UP NS transfer.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that makes sense. They don't like redundancy when UP bought the DNRGW, or I mean the DNRGW bought the UP. They got rid of everything at Burnham, and it took a little time, but it was kind of funny. The wording they chose in one of the press releases was, everyone who works for NS will have a job tomorrow. And it's like, oh, but not the next day, because it's the Class 1. But that's that's kind of how that works. So I think it's going to be great for people with fat bank accounts and lots of stock options and such, but it's not going to be great for any small businesses or anyone who works for the railroad or the small towns along the railroad, if you ask me.
Oh, as far as I'm aware.
Anyway.
So should I find a new railroad to work for now or later?
Well, Godspeed. Still has to be approved by the STB, so here's hoping that the STB has a good head on him. But again, as I said before, the rest of y'all jumped in here. Love y'all. The top jets are outpacing me, and I said I was going to get to some pre-asked questions, so we're going to keep rolling here. Random Texan, Haisune Miku on Monty when, if you know, you know. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Thank you, though. Dave, yes, Mark, same one from the meet and greet and with Michelle and company, and yes, we did Shop Talk as well. Good memory. Hey, look at that! Okay, good. Court Fred, fireman, 30 months. Damn YouTube changing display names. Let there be birds. I had a... Oh. How did you time that? How did you do that? How did you do that?
The economy is broken once again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I was like, with the Q and the color it was, I was like, I bet that's Quirt Fred, but apparently it was, and there's another 50, so thank you. 84mer 9212, hi Hyce, feels like forever since we've seen an office hours, just made an alt account just for you, want to meet him, you'll know him from the $1. You lost the game. You dick. Thanks for the $1, but also, fuck you. Knapford Master, okay, we've now caught up to when we were looking at the 475. Anyway, SB Jeff Sloan. Hey, Mark, congrats on the house. Excited about your plans to build 1-to-1 Montezuma. Any plans for Rolling Stock? Would love to help out. There's definitely going to be opportunities to help out down the road for sure. And Rolling Stock, yes, there is plans for at least one friend. Oh, God. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Yes. The car that we are lovingly referring to as the B unit, which will serve as a tool car, slash, what if we put a traction motor and a water tank in it?
AKA a B unit.
The B unit, yes. The 2-axle early baggage. Because she would be good for this and one Jackson and Sharp coach up Cumbres. So, you make a cute little train.
I'm pretty sure if you want to match
Tiny
the power of Montezuma, you could just cut a hole in the floor and Flintstone it up there. I think that's about the same.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Go-kart engine on the tender.
No.
Oh.
Anyway.
You...
Nitro! Good to see Hyce House coming along. Busy doing track work at the museum, enjoying the 35°C heat. Ouch. Anyway, could I be added to the restoration channel in Discord? You have some projects to show. By all means, shoot me a DM, add me as a friend on Discord if you haven't, or ping me somewhere in the Discord so I've got your username. And then, yeah, we'll toss
Fred
you right
will
in.
yell at you, but we'll see it.
Yeah. Drake the Rail fan. Oh god, chat just jumped. We gotta catch up here. Conductor 27 months for someone that wants to eventually work on the CNTS or DNS on engine crew. Would you recommend taking any college classes or start after high school? If you want to work for a tourist railroad, do not go to college. Period. End of statement. If you want to go be train crew, no, college is not the answer. You will not learn anything helpful in college that will help you pull a stick, or shovel coal, or run a firing valve, and you'll just put yourself in debt and not be able to do it. I would recommend giving it a trial run if you can, because it's not necessarily for everyone.
I love it.
But, you know, for many, it is the thing to do. But yeah, definitely give it a try, but don't, college. Brett Layton and I do it as a side hustle. Well, I guess it's not really my full-time hustle, but whatever. We do it as our volunteer part-time special thing because it's not a super lucrative industry to be in, at least on the tourist side. Obviously, if you're going to go Class 1, there's big money there, but Class 1 comes with all the Class 1 things, as we've seen. So, don't go to college if you want to do
Especially in recent times.
Yeah. But if you want to be more on the backside and working on the locomotives and being in charge of the shop someday or being more managerial, that kind of thing, college can be beneficial. It just kind of depends on what you want to line out and do. Put it this way, give train crew a quick shot, and if it's not for you, then maybe look at college after that would be my 2 cents. Person 723 could do a 7.5-inch gauge L105 as the scale engine. My buddy Jimmy is going to beat us to that punch, so very stoked on that. But anyway, that would be a kick-ass engine to have, but there's going to be one. So 300-pound baseman, 35 months, almost 3 years. Happy trails. Thank you, William. Conch Tech 9267, conductor 12 months, 1 year. Yahoo! Have I heard the news? Union Pacific looking to acquire Norfolk Southern. Do we just start saying touch purple every time?
Purple glass.
Yes, we have. Catch the VOD and look back. We've given several answers about it at this point. Thank you, though. Jared Stafford, fireman 36 months, very, very happy. Congratulations on Hyce House being very real now. Thank you. Very excited. Trainmaster or something. Hey, Hyce, everybody talks about the K-37 being converted from standard gauge to narrow gauge. Not true, you know. But why doesn't anyone talk about it being converted from narrow to standard? Sorry, not sorry. Most of my friends who are really twisted, sick individuals of fun varieties joke about making a K-37 back into a C-41. Be a lot of work is why. Casting a cylinder saddle is like the hardest, most expensive thing that you can do on a locomotive. So, yeah, it's kind of a challenge. That would be goddamn cool, though. I mean, honest to God, that would be more valuable than seeing the rest of the Ks sitting around rotting. So, just saying. 84mer, also found out you're an idiot last stream. You were here. Arduck has two 2926 models. I have the smaller one, so I didn't get it for a third of the price. Ah! That makes sense. Yes, he makes things in many sizes. As you can see, the giant Montezuma behind me. Shout out to Arduck. They're fantastic. They make cool kits. And when he saw the video of me oogling this thing at the show, he just mailed it to me. Sent a fun letter with it that I would pull up, but actually just packed it into a box literally before stream. So, also, William Adams, I hope you know that the GAN can is at the wheel. So, I thought that was a fitting place to tuck it so that it wouldn't get hurt. Because the Montezuma, being the shape and size that it is, and knowing that how far that I'm moving, not terribly far, we're just going to kind of cradle it under an arm and stick it in the back seat. So, Todd N. Brakeman, 10 months. 74 is the only CSNG loco with wall shirts. Why is that? Because the 75 and the 76 got scrapped. There were more, but they became dead. The real reason is that most of the engines that were narrow gauge were built kind of early on when Stevenson was the prevailing design choice, and by the time wall shirts kind of became the prevailing design choice, well, the CNS narrow gauge was going out of business, more or less, or at least was getting to be on its last legs. So, yeah, there you go. Ivy Kevlar, what is the reason for having trailing trucks on the cab Ford Steam, if not for firebox reasons? That's a good, like the true trailing truck, the two at the end of the 4882 that's not under the firebox.
Oh, that's for just stability, I believe.
Probably, if it would especially for reverse operations, it would help for stability.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the. I was staring at it a bunch when we were in Sacramento. I don't remember what I thought of it. Let me see if I can pull up a.
Yeah, my guess is that, and they also have a massive back porch. So that probably.
Oh, I apparently didn't. When did I don't know. I'd have to pull up footage because I don't have any pictures from my cell phone of that, and I'm not going to spend 5 minutes trying to dive for footage on it. But I mean, I would assume it is for the locomotive operating in reverse and still leading it through curves. The tender's going to pull the drawbar over, but having something to inform the position of the frame is helpful. And even in forwards, it would help try to keep things set up just right. So. Oh, Todd End is telling me that 75 and 76 were Stevenson. I can never remember. The 74, 75, 76 were all different. They were piston valve Stevenson. That's right. Isn't that right? CNS 75. Oh yeah, I was totally full of shit. What else is new? It's hard to be accurate and be on stream. I'm sorry, folks. Yeah, I know. Okay, I guess she was the only one. But these ones got converted to piston valve. Okay. Was 74 built with Stevenson and then they just converted it? I don't know. I don't know enough about that engine. Because she must have been converted to wall shirts, but why they didn't convert her to... Huh. Why didn't they also do the piston valve conversion? I have no idea. Interesting. That one might be lost to the drunks of the CNS. C-74 is the shrug locomotive. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that tracks. Steam Power, Brutal Legend as the first stream for the new house for Ozzy. I don't know if I can guarantee it'll be the first stream, but I do want to do that stream next month, yes.
You got it.
Sorry, I cut you off, Johnny.
Best.
I was just going to say at some point when you ever get out of these top chats, you get caught up with them, I would love to tell a story of how I almost got fired 3 times today.
Oh, Christ. Are you sure you want to publish that on the internet?
I don't care. It'll give people a good reason to realize that running an engine is not all it is cut up to be when you don't know what you're doing all the time.
10-4. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind here. Tommy Shank, conductor 11 months. Congrats on the house. Hope there's space and money for an ES&DT model display. Wings and Strings has designed no less than, I think, 5 different concepts for train layouts in the basement. I need to get my desk and set up and everything kind of in the space, and then we'll kind of see what we can do. At the very least, there will be an SN3 around the walls in one of the bedrooms, at the very least. So there will be something.
Good.
Court Fred. We finally got to the birds from Court Fred. Thank you, my friend. Alligamer also sending 20 memberships. Thank you, my friend, as well. Toon Train.
Honestly,
Brakeman for 17 months. Hi from Durango, riding the Highline Express. Gotta like that. No, we can't have end of the line yet. Oh! And Alligator's bringing up the birds. You're just keeping a timestamp for me. Thank you. It does help.
Honestly, if you're just starting to build model railroad stuff, I would personally just start with a 4x8 sheet of plywood on a table.
I made a 4x8 sheet of plywood layout before you were born, kid. I'm not even fucking kidding.
I don't have soundboard access here. I will play the Beavis and Butthead. You're old.
You say that, but I'm currently in the process of making a 25-foot by 45-foot room of just model.
Hell
See,
yeah.
the issue for me is I have neither time, space, nor money, so what I'm going with is the plywood and Pacific for right now.
I've seen pictures of your layout. It is a good plywood Pacific. Yes.
I just collect the good models.
That's what you gotta do. Yeah, no, I will have the space for something. I might have the money for something if it doesn't all go to the 240. The time is kind of doubtful for a while still. But anyway. Alligamer, the shelves looking pretty bare back there. Yes. What's on the shelves? Montezuma, the Montezuma plate that Caleb Leach made. The Gan Can there. The 844 that, oh god, Nicholas Adkinson. Sorry, I can't remember the pronunciation. Gave me in Kentucky. And then the P cup that is full of the oil sample from the 476 from the Winter Charter, because I dare not pack that, because if that exploded over stuff in the move, that's going to get transported separately. And that's pretty much all that's there. And then lamps and builder's plates and heavy breakable shit, and then shit that I haven't gotten to yet down there that I'm not sure what to do with. So we're getting there. It's a lot packed. We're probably 65% packed, maybe. Shrug. It's a lot of work.
You don't realize how much stuff you own until you actually have to move somewhere.
Yeah, when you start pulling shit out of the closets, you're like, man, closets hold a lot of shit. So
yeah, like me for a good 15 years.
Well, you know. Anyways, yes, very bare. Abiana, engineer, 14 months. Hey, Mark, good luck at the new studio. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Yes, very excited. Cedar Valley Rail, 21 months as a fireman, new crib. Let's go. Oh, yeah, man. We're going to do a crib tour. Actually, we probably will for members. I kind of want to do like a last, hey, this is what it was before I moved the desk out, so that you guys can see what it was, and then we'll do a little tour of the studio space and the garage at the new spot when time comes. So, Ham-fisted, congrats on the move. Query, any recommendations for HO scale starter sets? We'll have to watch the VOD for your answer. Hope your evening is a good one.
Hi, this is my expertise. Put together your own.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's not like a singular starter set that is good. I mean, what I can tell you is that kind of the creme de la creme, if you can't have a permanent setup and you can't lay track on like a table, the Kato unit track is like the good shit in terms of snap track. So get a loop of the Kato track and whatever transformer you want, and then just start getting some engines. Because they sell like, hey, here's a loop of track. I know because I own it. And that's how I've run some of my HO scale stuff at home when not doing modular stuff. But that's kind of, that's the good way to do it. There's not really like any brand that makes a good... Look, here's the thing.
Personally, what I would go with for equipment-wise is Walthers make some pretty decent, pretty cheap DCC convertible engines. You just buy them DC, and if you want to throw DCC in them later, you can do that.
Okay, dumb question. I gotta ask real quick.
Scour eBay.
Have you all found any actual signal kits that are worth buying?
For HO?
Yeah.
Our Fremo setup has some pretty nice working signals. I'm not sure what they are, but
I'll have to ask.
I could look into it. Ask Jimmy from the COG in the Discord, and you'll probably get quite the discourse on it. So
you'll get it faster than me, that's for sure. I never go anymore. Good thing is I'm getting a car soon, so I can go more often.
Okay, let's see. From Modius.
An hour and a half for work.
That does suck, especially on a 2-hour call.
Yep.
Modius, what would be better to use in a coal mine for a steam locomotive that's outside framed? Roller bearings or friction bearings? Timken shill, they're called plain bearings. I guess you're not from the States, so never mind. Belay the Timken shill. Translations, yeah. What's cheaper versus quicker maintenance wise if you keep some wheel sets in a ready state? If you're going to be in a coal mine and you've got particulate in the air everywhere, I would almost bet a sealed roller bearing is going to be the way to go. Absolutely. That way you're not potentially getting particulate into your bearing and journal surface.
Also, some flavor of spark arrestor. You're gonna want that if you're designing something.
What's quicker? Quicker. I mean, undoubtedly to true up a brass and polish a journal. If you have to deal with the journal on the axle, it's about the same speed as if you had to replace the roller bearing. If you do it right, though, I mean, roller bearings would be the way to go, especially in that application. Random text in. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I need to derail this for just a minute. So I just need your guys' opinion on something.
Okay.
So we've been having an issue lately in the yard of people talking over you when you're under a 5-car count. So I would say, hey, yeah, no.
Tell them to fucking eat shit and die. Ask me, but well, anyway.
That's what I did. I fucking they've been calling the yardmaster for direction for railroad, and so I said in the union chat to the people I can talk to. I said, if you hear somebody under a 5-car count, do not call the yardmaster for instruction as to where to go, because it is extremely unsafe practice and it's getting extremely old. Somebody replied to me, just stop the move if it's unsafe. Plus, yardmasters do it all the time. So let me know how that works out for you. This railroading is real life, not some simulation like you might be used to. It's been happening for way longer than you've been out here. Just reality, bro. And I said, fuck you, dude. And he's like, fuck me. I wasn't being rude. What do you mean?
He was absolutely taking the piss out of you. I mean, it's like, there is going to be a time when somebody's going to chime in, and you stop the move, and then you pick up. Like, that's fine. But if that's the norm, and then people are being fucking dicks about it, that's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's an unspoken rule at CSX, is if you hear anybody making a car count to a couple, you just kind of shut up and wait.
It happens all the time. It's like constantly we get under a 5-car count or something like that. I've had it down to where I've been like, saying to such and such train, and then somebody's all like, yeah, call it, and it doesn't just happen at Conway. It happens at fucking Harrisburg too. And that shit drives me nuts.
That would be like, when I was management, that would be, thankfully it only came up a couple times when I was at the shop at BNSF, because we very, very irregularly had more than 2 crews, if that, operating at the same time. But anytime it did, it was like, those guys got a talking to right the fuck away. Like, no, you do not do that. If you're coming in on the hook, like, particularly if you're riding a shove, that is a huge matter of safety, because if he doesn't make the hook right, you could go flying off. That's not cool.
Well, we're not allowed to ride cars into shoves because of that.
Makes sense.
So,
we're allowed to.
Yeah, no, we are not allowed to ride cars into shoves. We're allowed to ride locomotives on the step where you have the bar in front of you. But
you all have so many more rules than we do.
It was just the fact that I was trying to bring up a genuine safety concern in the yard that has been ongoing, and the guy was all like, it's not a simulation, bro. Like, fuck you.
Real.
Sorry. I just...
No.
Valid.
Understandable.
Valid.
No, it's happened to me before, but usually when somebody hears me counting down after they've said something, the yardmaster replies back, and they just kind of say, stand by.
No, I wish they would do that. Like, I've done it by mistake. And, as soon as the yardmaster answers, I do the same thing. I'm like, stand by, somebody's under a 5-car count. And then I shut the fuck up. But it is religious. We are constantly fighting each other in the yard for radio space. And the response I got fucking blew my lid off. I'm sorry. I derailed. I just angry.
Protocol at my museum, since we don't move cars often, it doesn't come up all that often, but it's basically, when you're moving stuff, everybody shuts up.
Yeah.
Which really seemed... I know it's not possible for larger railroads to do stuff like that, but do people not, even have at least a bit of common courtesy to realize this is probably a bad idea?
Well, okay, so protocol for us is if somebody does end up walking over you while you're under a 5-car count, as soon as they start walking over you, you literally just stop the movement.
And that's what
The
I've been
engineer
doing.
is supposed to stop the movement.
It shouldn't be the regular thing, though. Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
The rule specifically states that if you are under a 5-car count and you move a car length and do not hear the next car, the engineer is supposed to stop the move. But nobody fucking does that, and I always constantly have to, as soon as I can get a word in, be like, stop, just stop.
No, most of the time it's just
know.
like, that'll do, just wait.
I don't know if people have been to do this where you're from, John, but constantly you hear over the radio after something happens, people go, whoosh. And NS is trying to really enforce the whole speak up culture. They're trying to, and this is it, this being a safety issue, I'm trying to speak up about it. And this is the kind of shit I'm talking, this is why nobody wants to speak up, because this is the shit we get.
Yeah, that's just culture of the yard, man. That's tough, because that's the hardest fucking problem to deal with, and that's not something that's easily fixed by one person in the craft or one person in management. It plagues the location. Ask me how I know.
It's definitely one of the things where you have to get so many people involved to say that it is a concern for anything to actually happen.
Right.
Welcome to the railroad, honestly.
I had 2 other people respond to me about it, and they were like, "Welcome to the Disenchanted," and I'm like, "Well, if it's obviously an issue, why is it a thing? Like, if it is a known issue, why are we still propagating it?"
Because the railroad. Yeah.
Like I said, in CSX, it is an unspoken rule. It doesn't actually exist, but most guys are respectful enough to respect that. So.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Just bitching to bitch, I guess.
Yeah, valid. I gotta keep catching up on these top chats, guys.
No.
Random Texan, Hyce Mikus from Jersey's Jackbox TV stream. Oh god. That was a stream of all time. That was quite silly.
Speaking of which, Jersey did stream Sea of Thieves lately, and I feel like I'm partly to blame with that because we've been playing it so much.
Yo ho, yes, I need to play it again, but I gotta buy the DLC. So
I'm gonna get Sea of Thieves one of these days.
Yeah, it's got a DLC. It holds like about 1 liter, and it has a guy standing on a barrel doing a pose. Shame that they keep making you rebuy it though. But anyway, maybe when I get to the new place. It's Tristan Benz. Hello, Hyce. Not a train fact, but the SR-71 Blackbird was so quick it could race the sun and win. AKA, by the time it took off on the East Coast, it would fly so quick it would land in the West before its takeoff time back east. It's pretty rad. Beat the time zones.
Yes. You have activated the autism. The SR-71 is my favorite plane ever, and it set the record from Los Angeles to DC. And I think
speedy boy.
Minutes.
Yeah, that's quick. That's a neat plane.
No, I'm an A-10 Thunderbolt guy.
You mean the gun with a plane?
Yeah, the gun with a plane.
Congratulations, you have invented a gun with a plane strapped to it.
Welcome to GE's planning. We make things that spin.
Yes, including miniguns.
Some spin to remove states, some spin to remove people.
From Jace Bellerin. I hope I pronounced that right. I wonder if you're the Jace from Promontory.
Magic. It's Jace Bellerin.
Bellerin, perhaps. Conductor 27 months. Hey Birdman, people probably already asked this, but thoughts? Yes, UPNS merger. It has not been approved by the Surface Transportation Board, and who knows what the Surface Transportation Board will say. If it does get approved, I don't see it being good for anyone but the shareholders of either company. That's the short answer.
I don't know.
80 former, only worry with the merger between UP and NS is what the future of 844 and 4014 be. Congrats on the move, though. Can't wait to see the new office. Me too. According to UP, it is an acquisition, not a merger, so I assume that they'll keep them. Because it'll still be UP management in charge, and they've shown no disdain for at least the choo-choos that Ed does have, so anyway. And hey, Alligamer, you know how long we've been derailing the conversation? You just sent 50 gift memberships. Just now we've gotten to
Another 50
that.
friends to help you move.
Yes, if the birds could actually show up at my house and just start marching down the street with all my stuff, that would be really handy.
That would be fucking terrifying. You liar.
It would be terrifying, but it would also be handy.
Don't say that, otherwise you're gonna have like a bunch of foamers show up at your door.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know,
I mean, my friends are fine. Brett has already offered. Actually, most all of my museum friends have already offered to help move, and we are being. My girlfriend and I were like, all right, we're both in our 30s, and we're not gonna pay for movers for everything because we can't afford that and we don't want to afford that, but we will pay movers to move the big heavy shit. So we're doing at least that, so I don't have to move a couch, and I don't have to make any of my friends move a couch, which feels luxurious, but I think it's going to be the best on everyone's back. So anyway, Jared Stafford, is it just me, or do the CNS B4s look and scream Colorado narrow gauge even more than the Ks? They really do. I mean, with the Ridgeway spark arrestor, they really have a good look. And while we're talking about the CNS stuff, Todd did send and post the actual some testimonies about the CNS modernizing those engines and talking about how 74 was still a problem child, which was kind of funny. I'm not sure I found the exact quote in there because it's a big, long article that would be fun to read that I'll just post in the chat if anyone wants to read more about the CNS fun stuff about that class of engines that from Todd. But I guess that they had totally took apart 74 to make her swap to wall shirts, had to move the air tanks, do a whole bunch of stuff, and that fixed the Johnson bar trying to fling people through the cab door, which Stevenson gear engines will do.
Yeet.
But in order to do so, they had to cant the cylinders and the slide valves out, and lubrication was never good with that, which should surprise no one.
Well, what's better, being flung out the window or punched in the face with a Johnson bar?
Johnson bars have killed people, so neither.
Well, I'm sure
I think I'd rather be flung out the
I'm sure
window.
being flung hasn't, left him injury-free either, but...
Yeah, no, I've seen...
It's better than being punched in the gut by a Johnson bar.
We had an elderly engineer volunteer the one time. Got 346 stuck centered up on him, and she had killed one of her steam chest lids, so we stole one from 318, and management at the time was not so good management, and nothing was done to it. It was just slapped on there. It's supposed to be a nice, smooth, honed, lapped fit. And it just got thrown on there from another locomotive. No idea if it was flat or would seal or would do anything. And so it did all manner of stupid shit. And she centered up on him. And so he got the chest fully pressurized. Shut the throttle. Opened the cylinder cocks. Or no, he didn't open the cylinder cocks. He went to move the bar first. And I was trying to coach him. And he touched the bar. And he got it back far enough close to center with some effort because it was a charged chest, and once he got close enough, she just ripped it and threw it in full reverse right past him, and thankfully he was a smaller guy and it just slid past him. But the passengers got an extra 200 feet on their ride that day at a surprisingly high rate of speed. But that's what the big hole's for. So anyway, but yes, the B4s definitely look very CNS. New IKB, did any of the US locos use rotary valve gear like Caprati? The T1s. I know the T1s off the top of my head. Some of them had. I think it actually literally was Caprati. Or it might have been a US patent of Caprati. Somebody in chat knows better than I do. But it is a rotary valve gear. Tadeo Montano, Brakeman 14 months. Woe time is fake. Yes, it is. Oh boy, there we go. Jeremy, conductor, 13 months. You need more 3/4 show packed into your veins. We do need to do another season. We filmed a train layout special at Leighton's garage that half of the footage is kind of like shitty. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make anything out of that, and I've been putting it off until I get the move done. So
Is
maybe
that the
you'll-
one where we got it's Bond, Hyce Bond. You were fucking around with a garage door.
that was like a year and a half ago. But we filmed at that same location, yes, in Leighton's garage.
Well, soon it'll get to be your own garage. How about that?
Well, we're not going to put a train layout in my garage, but there will be things that go in the garage.
What do you mean?
Exciting.
There will be a train laid out all over your garage.
There will be a train laid out, yes, in the garage, which is going to be very exciting. So, anyway, Steam Ton. Fireman 24 months, happy 2 years. Once you get a good laptop, you want to animate a clip for the birds, a macaw eating lots of little burbs with Monty in the back chuffing. I think you'll like it. Talk dirty to me. I mean, little kikes walking across stream, like, that's great, but a dedicated bespoke animation, that calls my heart, so that would be amazing. Thank you, my friend. Trainman! Thoughts on the Graham White E-Bell? Haunts my nightmares.
Wait, I do need to bring this up. Speaking of birds, I just want you to know that every time we've gone sailing in Sea of Thieves, we bring the Hyce.
Good. The Hyce bird. I have seen... You guys were the second of 3 to have one of the blue parrots in Sea of Thieves and make it a reference to me, and that's it's very touching. So... Tadeo Montano, almost halfway through the season, up at the Cripple Creek and Victor. Time is fake. Started out as track worker, got promoted to engineer 2 weeks later, and I love it. Good luck with the new house. Much love. Thank you. I need to come visit you guys. Not for any reason other than my girlfriend wants to come see the donkeys. The town of Cripple Creek is host to roaming donkeys in the summer. And
I see.
There's nothing more than my lady likes than cute animals, so we gotta make a trip down there one of these days. Coaster fan idea: Detroit 8 V71 stuffed into a K20. A sin? Yes, I think that would be a sin, but it would be neat. Biscayne and Junior 31 months. Congrats on closing and the big move. Closing's tomorrow. Still could be up in the air, but thank you. And yes, big move indeed. Hope it's going well. Quick question for the Brain Trust. Looking for history info on an East Coast 3-foot railroad, the Gainesville, Jefferson, and Southern in Georgia. Any good place to start? Thanks.
The Discord.
Yeah, the Discord. Ask the Discord. I want to say that railroad has come up in talks with my buddy Mark and his video game from Studio 346. I want to say. I recall hearing that road name at least once, but where the information came from, I don't know. But ask around and see what you might find. Treewalker93, happy Wednesday, a little late to the party. Based off the lack of decor, last stream for the old office should be closing soon. Yes, closing tomorrow. Closing in less than 24 hours. That's exciting. But yes, we've been packing things in advance of that and in prep of that, so yeah. Surly the 4th, Fireman 16 months. If you need help moving or fixing the house up, summon the banners, and I'm sure your fandom can have you and Lady Burb settled in like you've always been there in less than a day. I'm truly blessed to be supported by all y'all the way I am. Thankfully, knock on wood, the house is like updated all the way around, and the stuff that came up on inspection that was important to get dealt with, the sellers have all dealt with. And we'll be getting receipts for that and doing the final walkthrough tomorrow and making sure that's the case. So, knock on wood, shouldn't have anything large to do right away. Obviously, it's a house, and there's going to be something because it's a house. But should be clean living for the first little bit. So, Zappy9715, engineer 2 months. Hello from my train. UPNS? Question mark. Red signals are your favorite. Yes, you can sit and kick back and relax. Keep it safe out there, buddy. Train spotter, good luck with the new house. Thank you. AEP 817, Brakeman 21 months. NORAC 12th, Rule 705, radio transmission procedure. Johnny, you've been called out. It's in the NORAC rulebook. May not be in Dedicated Your Railroads rulebook, but it's in NORAC.
Well, that's NORAC. Nobody pays attention to that.
Don't say that too loud.
Yeah, we only pay attention to the FRA when they're looking. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, yep.
Frisco Man 1522, conductor for months. What's up, Hyce? You're a little late, but wanted to congratulate on the move and moving on to the next chapter in your life. Cheers to you. Thank you. Hawk Silly Man 4777, based on your experience, what and where would be a good starting off point for working for a railroad? Good luck on the move, by the way. That depends on where you're coming at in your life. My start with the railroad was truly the silver spoon asshole douchebag approach of I went to college and then I was put into management because I was in college, which I don't think is necessarily a great actual way to do it.
Well, I mean, it seems like you get to apply a lot of what you have learned throughout. Like,
It's true.
Did you learn thermodynamics in college?
I did, yeah. I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer, so thermo fluids, all that stuff, and I didn't have to use any of my college degree at the BNSF. Critical thinking, maybe, but yeah. So, I don't know. You don't necessarily need that sort of stuff unless you want to be management, but if you want to be train crew, I mean, just apply. You need to be able to lift stuff, pass a physical, and have a pulse and a clean drug test. And then get lucky.
For certain railroads, you can't be colorblind.
Oh, that's true.
NS, you are not. They make you play a colorblind test at NS because we use colored signals.
Yeah. CSX, you do colored signals, pass a drug test, pass a freaking background screening, and just be 18 years of older with reliable transportation.
Yep, but
you do not have to have any.
It's always a dicey proposition whether or not the railroads are hiring. If there's a boom in traffic, they might be hiring like absolute nuts. But if there's a waning in traffic or a giant merger, perhaps they might be trying to fire everybody. So it's it's a fun time.
NS is we are very short of people at Conway right now. So I think they said they're going to hire like 50 people, but split them up between East and West. Because Conway's weird. Because there's two separate agreements. You've got the nickel plate from Norfolk, or from the Norfolk side, and then you've got, the Conrail agreement on the east side. So it's split right down the middle.
It sounds like Evansville, Indiana.
It's every terminal at Interbay. We had Santa Fe and BN employees, despite the Santa Fe not coming anywhere there. But if anyone was still a union Santa Fe guy that had transferred to our shop, their union agreements transferred. So we had weird shit like when I was doing payroll for guys, and it was spring forward or fall back. If you were a BN machinist, you got a 7-hour shift and a 7-hour paycheck the one time, and you get a 9-hour shift, 9-hour paycheck, no overtime the other time. Like, that was the way that the BN had agreed it, and that was that. Santa Fe, though, the Santa Fe guys got paid an 8-hour shift on the 7-hour shift, and they got paid 8 hours plus an hour OT on the 9-hour shift. So Santa Fe had it figured out, but that only applied. It was like, it was a special code. This guy is a Heritage Santa Fe mechanic. Therefore, okay, he gets paid that way. So the union agreements, yeah, that always ends up being a thing. But, I mean, when you're talking about hiring on the railroad and railroad people and staffing and stuff, I mean, it can be bizarrely dynamic with how things go depending on what terminal it is. If you're at the system shop, like if you're going to Argentine on the BNSF, one of the biggest shops, if not the biggest shop, it's going to be relatively stable unless traffic totally fluctuates crazy. In the case of my shop, we went from about 45 to 50 guys up to a maximum of 87 in the period of about 10 months. They did this crazy hiring spree, traffic was surging, all this stuff, and that was like 2017 into 2018. Had all these guys, and then in, I think, 2021, they announced the shop was going to close, and everybody had to move, transfer, or they were done working for the railroad. So
you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, literally. So it's a whole time. EvilGraph 775, 16 months. While time is fake. Time is fake. Thank you for being a conductor. 16 months. Alligamer. Since it's office hours, why don't we give engines big hats anymore? Large spark arresters on the stack. Because smoke boxes got bigger and they put all the shit inside.
Fair enough.
It
occurred to me. I was thinking about this the other day because the difference between American and British steam locomotives is, over here in America we literally just launch everything out of the fucking stack.
Right.
So I didn't know if there was like a special or a special set of pipes inside the stack that had been developed to be able to handle the amount of stuff that gets sent out, or if it was I don't know, something different.
So you think about it, I mean, and this is a great thing, and actually I should pull up that Animagraphs video, but you look at Montezuma with a 35-inch diameter smoke box, basically, right? There's not space for shit in there, so they had to put everything up top. And other early engines were similar, and this is partially why you see some weird engines getting you see some weird engines getting smoke box extensions like 318, although 318 doesn't have a super egregious one. If you take a look, you can see that her historic original smoke box was right around the stack, and then they made the smoke box longer in order for it to have the straight stack at the same position, so they'd have space for all the screening and everything to grab all the stuff. Because the thought is, you don't want the big burny bits to make it to the ground, because that's what's going to cause a fire. So in the case of Montezuma, there's no space for anything. You can't, like, your branch pipes and your blast nozzle is what fits in the space, and that's a lot of early engines. Then they went to extended smoke boxes, and then at some point the diameter gets so big that you could fit the Montezuma in it just about. Not actually, but not far off, which is kind of hilarious.
I don't know. I think you could fit a Montezuma in 4014.
I don't know. The smoke box of the big boy is pretty big. It's not 10 foot in diameter though. But it's probably 7.5 or 8 feet if I had to guess. If we look at the Animagraphs video that I consulted on, he did such a spectacular job. If we take a look at the smoke box, wherever he did that, he does a great job of showing off exactly how it works, where it's entirely baffled all the way around. And so all the gases, all the nasty, all the coal bits, which particularly on this engine started pretty small anyways, and they have a lot of time to be on fire through all the flues and tubes, and then they hit the baffle plate or they go underneath, then they have to be sucked up and around through a giant screen, and then they go out through the stack. So they spend a lot more time inside and get busted up pretty significantly. And the draft, it'll pick up stuff that's down in the bottom and keep cycling it and keep smashing it against the screen when the engine works hard. It's why you'll see British engines have the clock face, and they have to open it out and shovel out the smoke box every day, and we shovel the smoke box out at worst every 31 day boiler wash, or at best every annual, which is what we end up doing, just because it will eject everything out the stack, but do it in such a way that the pieces are small enough that they won't be on fire by the time they hit the ground. At least in theory, that's the hope. So
yeah, I do recognize that they launched it out of the stack. We were riding behind the
2102. Yeah.
Yeah, there was shit in my eye and shit in my hair. But it just it was after that trip that I thought about it. I was just like, well, why didn't she have a big?
Yeah, because she's got a big ass smoke box and she's just throwing. It's cold by the time it gets to you. Whereas even a smaller engine like 20 has a spark arrestor then on the top of the stack, and the reason is I've actually watched Smith. If you're watching, I've watched somebody actually get burnt by a cinder from 20 that landed on their neck. So it's not ideal. So bigger engines, it's a little better, but yeah, I mean, they spew that stuff out, and PSA, if you're riding behind a coal burner, definitely have some eye protection. So, yeah. I need to get through these top chats, and I also need to go pee. So, we're going to try and blitz through some of these here. Daniel Cantore! Good to see you. Breakman 17 months. It's been a while. I hope your move goes smooth. Thank you. That Monon guy. Hey, Hyce finally got to be a member now. Yeah! Nice! AEP 817. It's also NS Rule 51. Johnny, you're full of shit. You're getting
more specific. There's a lot of
Okay.
rules.
That is NS, not CSX. I do not work for NS. I do not know their rule book.
And like I said, we have 4 different rule books. We have one for equipment. We have one for general rules, operating rules. We have the SGRC, which is safety, and then we have the HM1. You're gonna have to be more specific. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Pretty much, right?
HM1's FRA though. It's not technically NS's.
Yeah, well, it was just an example. You're right. It is FRA, and obviously it doesn't apply to the HM1. But there's still 3 other books there that I'd have to scrub through to look through.
All right.
Well, it appears I'm being summoned away for Helldivers.
Godspeed. Go spread that democracy, soldier.
Democracy.
Yep.
Sorry,
Todd,
yes, sir.
Todd, and I love Brooks. Brooks is a fun, neat builder, and I'm glad you shared that with us. Schwarzer Moritz, just so you're aware, Hyce House is how the Austrians call their steam roundhouses, so Das Hyce House would be very fitting for a Locomotive's home. We love that. Thank you. And from AEP, it's the operating rulebook. All right. I'm going to turn it over to the Class 1 Railroaders, and they can hijack things however they so please for the next couple minutes while I take a tinkle. I will be right back. And you can tell your story now if you like, Johnny, unless you want me to hear it, in which case, you can tell when I come back. So
I would love to tell it when you were here, so. Yeah, that makes no sense to me, though, how apparently it's in your all's rulebook, but it doesn't happen, and it's not in our rulebook physically that I can find, but we do.
Well, my best guess is what happened to Mark. What Mark described is exactly what happened. Somebody made a tie a little too hard and then got launched off a car.
Oh, yeah. Every single rule in the rulebook's made in blood, so. Yeah, no, most of the time when we do ties and stuff, and if you're coming in a little hot, and I feel like you're coming in hot, dude, I'm diving off that car. I don't care how fast you're going, I'm diving.
Well, so NS also just put out so this has all become it's a compounding issue upon what I talked about before with everybody talking over each other. NS has now instituted a bunch of rules that require a lot of conversation over the radio. So now if we want to get off moving equipment instead of just stopping the move, we have to say over the radio, hey, such and such train, I'm getting off in so many cars, verify speed is under 3 miles an hour. And now we have to verify that the speed is under 3 miles an hour whenever I get off the train, and if I don't hear them reply that the speed is under 3, I'm not allowed to get off. I have to wait for them to bring it to a stop.
That is crazy because our speed is 4 miles an hour. It just 4.99. You're good to get off. You can't be 5, but it's got to be 4.99 or less.
Well, it's worse now, especially because we also have the point and call where we have to point and then we have to state over the radio the entire route, as well as the previous things of how many cars, where I'm at, train symbol, location, position, yada yada yada. Just there's a lot more radio chatter now, and it's GERT.
Yeah,
but it's just
apparently from AEP, it's in your operating rulebook.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's what he said. Here's to the CSX guy. Have you guys been affected by the tunnel in Baltimore being shut down? The boards are not turning at all up here. I haven't worked since last Sunday. We have been affected by it. There's been a lot of slower movements and stuff, but as soon as that tunnel gets opened up, we also have 2 tunnels being lowered, the undercut, so that we can run taller things through it, and our bridges are being upgraded so that we can run double stack intermodal.
Oh, do you guys have a tunnel closed there south of Baltimore or something?
This is actually further closer to where I am, but Baltimore Tunnel has caused a lot of our stuff to slow down because they have to now ship it way, way, way west up and around the tunnels. and then shoot it down through like Evansville and stuff to get anywhere.
I was just curious. We've had a lot of coal trains piling up that head to Baltimore as well for unloading, and they're just, I didn't know if it was like an Amtrak tunnel or something like that.
Man, I cannot say his name, but Schwartz. All those rules and regulations are written in blood. Remember that when they are calling for deregulation, or else business will die.
Well, so unfortunately, we do have a rule now that has blood on its hands. Train roll-bys.
We've had logs go through the front of engines because of people not actually looking out for it.
Well, so we what happened is that NS put out a rule. It was previously known as GR9, and then they got rid of it because somebody got killed over it, and then they brought it back recently. I want to say about a year ago or something like that. And it's basically conductors and the engineer have to be on the ground to do a roll-by for train meets. And the conductor,
Our rule is the conductor gets on the ground, but he goes to the opposite side of the tracks, if safe to do so. And he watches from one side and the engineer watches from the other.
That's the rule we follow now, too. But here's the problem, though, is that the engineer should be allowed to do it from the cab, because as defined by the rule book, equipment left standing is equipment that is not readily, somebody's not readily available to use the brake system on it. And what is the engineer going to do on the fucking ground or on the nose of the locomotive?
Let me tell you something here, Alligamer. Let me tell you something right here. This has been a debate that I've had with many of the rules guys from CSX. For them to state that you are leaving equipment unattended, you have to physically not be able to see it. I have literally fought with the union on this.
That is what they call unattended?
Yeah, if you can't see it, it's unattended.
Okay, so if you're standing right next to it and it starts to roll away, you're supposed to... Okay, cool.
Shrug your shoulders.
Basically, shrug your shoulders and say, hey, we got equipment moving, look out. That's literally all you can do.
Jesus.
But the problem is recently... it is the same way. The conductor's supposed to get on the ground and watch from the opposite side of the train, and there's nothing wrong with it. I love it personally because I get to get on the ground, stretch my legs, and watch trains go by all fucking day, which is, fantastic. But
you foamer.
I know, right? Terrible. But so what happened recently is that we had a train derail and right in front of the stopped train. And so what had happened was this tank car ruptured of molten sulfur and splashed the LET on the train, the engineer on the train, and I think the conductor also got splashed, but I'm not sure. But I know the LET got extremely severely burned because he pushed the engineer out of the way when he saw the tank car coming. And now they're calling it into question about whether or not the engineer should be out on the nose or still up in the cab where it's safe, should something like that happen. But NS has declined completely to comment on the situation whatsoever, which is also causing more of an uproar.
That is so frustrating. Like, I understand the thought behind the rule of, okay, if you want to do a proper roll-by, you got to do it from the ground, because you're not going to see dragging equipment unless it's obviously dragging out to the side from the cab. But then, yeah,
most of the time you can hear it.
Sure, right, but yeah, it's... I don't know why they wouldn't. Well, that's weird.
But part of the problem, though, is that, like, if...
Are any of the car shops doing time claims on train crews for taking their work?
No, because that is actually not a claim for CSX anymore.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that we're not fixing it, we're catching it. We're saying, hey, you've got such and such thing.
You're inspecting the train, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm inspecting the train.
Here's another thing with that, Alligamer. We literally, if we find something dragging, we have to take a bunch of zip ties and tie it up until it can go get serviced at a locomotive service center or car shop.
We were told, and this is specifically so we don't catch an issue with the car shop guys or the car department is that we tell the crew about it. The crew tells it the dispatcher, finds a safe place to bring it to a stop that is accessible from the car shop, which is, if it's in Johnstown, is fucking 100+ miles away because they bring guys up from Shire Oaks to come service it.
Anytime we ever have that happen, it's just like, hey, this is nothing but woods here. Just get it to the next location.
Yeah. Or the conductor. The conductor of that train has to come back and fix it. And I've caught a couple of things. I've caught pieces of steel just sticking out at like the 63V, the garbage train that comes out of New York. I've seen plenty of stuff sticking up out of there. I've called and had stopped. I've caught a couple of handbrakes. And it's not... I'm not saying that the GR9 is not a good practice. It is a good practice to a degree. Until it starts hindering the safety of both the crew and the train itself. Like I said, there is nothing wrong with the conductor getting out on the ground to look at traffic coming up. That is perfectly acceptable to me. It makes sense. But the engineer should stay in the cab where he has access to control.
Yeah, to me, unattended equipment would be if you're not on it to some capacity. You know, if it starts to roll away, you got to be able to, do something.
No. See, that's so funny to me because I actually argued that too, but at the same time, CSX is just like, if you can see it, it's not unattended. You could be 150 feet away throwing a switch. As long as you can see it, you're still attending it.
It sounds like the modern railroad.
The problem, it's turning into a bit more of a debate, like I said, especially with those guys getting splashed with molten sulfur. So
yeah. You got a few more top chats there, Hyce.
I'm seeing them. Let me grab those and then let's hear your story so we make sure we get that. I got about maybe another 15 minutes before I gotta pack up and head to band rehearsal, because of course the only day before our next gig that all of us are in town is the day before I close and I need to be ready to move. Anyway. From Railroader Davis, here's to the CSX guys. Have you guys been affected by the tunnel in Baltimore being shut down? The boards are not turning at all up here. You haven't worked since last Sunday. Engineer 33 months.
I have already answered that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like it was for you.
Yeah.
Shores or Moritz, all these rules and regulations are written in blood. Remember that when they're calling for deregulation, or else business will die. Yep. Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yep. That was probably on the whole.
To bring something up about that, have you all heard about the new automated track inspection thing they're trying to throw out?
Yes, we actually have some on our locomotives. I think every locomotive that is numbered 4400 and I think a couple of the 7500s have it equipped.
Well, they're saying that it could be up to 72 hours before that defect gets reported after it's found by automated systems.
I am actually that doesn't surprise me, but I have actually had it happen where it was immediate. Like, we passed over that section of track, our train cleared that track, and then a fucking speed restriction popped up behind us that said locomotive track inspection alert.
Well, that's actually kind of neat, but I wouldn't want to rely on it.
Neither would I. I'd rather have actual eyes out there looking.
Yeah. I'd take the right eyeballs out of anybody. I mean, good God, man. When we worked with, it was back in 2016, we had John Matthews come up to work with us at the museum, I think he's still the track foreman at the Cumbres and Toltec, and say what you will about some of the other challenges that railroad sees these days, but their track is pretty fantastic because John Matthews was one of the last road foremen on the narrow gauge for the Rio Grande. And that dude knew his shit. I mean, he didn't even have to get down and squat down and eye the rail. He knew exactly what was wrong where. I mean, you get the right guy who's done it and is the right man for the job. I mean, spectacular. So, yeah.
And I'm not saying that we should, reduce the amount of people that are doing active track patrols and stuff like that.
More checks are good, though.
What I'm saying though is what they did in court.
Yeah.
What they did in court is they were trying to say, hey, we don't want to inspect our track twice a week. We want to inspect it twice a month, which I think is a very unsafe practice.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Yeah, it's not great if you want to run.
No bueno.
That much tonnage.
No, if I want to run.
if I'm gonna run 60 mile an hour with a hazardous, or 50 mile an hour with a hazardous key train, I don't exactly want to be going over broken rail and stuff that hasn't been reported for 72 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Any of that tech stuff should be, in my opinion, should be enhancing. It shouldn't be replacing. It should be enhancing what we already have.
Agreed.
So, but that's always the fight, and that's what the hopefully the unions will go to bat for. So let me grab these top chats here.
If you bring all me money.
Hello, I like money. That Monon guy. Hey, CSX, give us back the Monon. I want the Who's Your line. No.
I would love to have the Monon come back, but oh my gosh, I doubt it'll ever happen.
Probably not. Random Texan. Hey, John. That was for you. Railroader Davis. Did you see that? He wants to know when you're going to do another session.
It will probably be Saturday night, maybe.
There you go. Railroader Davis, we have been running some of the NS coal trains down the Philly sub to unload at Consol. Neat.
I think we were also talking about because I talked about.
Yeah, that all sounds like it was Class 1 conversation. Love that you guys were still supporting the love and contributing to the conversation there. So
we had we were. It was the tunnel talk. We were talking about. I said that there was a lot of NS coal trains coming up out of Shire Oaks that are getting held up in Enola. I didn't know if there was something going on down in Baltimore or.
Yeah, they're redoing the entire tunnel.
That would do it. Blues Crew, hi, and how is it the end of July? End off July. Good question. Time's fake, as you well know. It was very good to see you this past weekend. So, yeah, it's time's fake. AEP 817, NORAC 72, inspection of moving trains. Basically, all employees are required to be a FOMR rule. Yeah, if you get a train pass and you give it the roll by. I mean, shit, we do it at the museum, and you feel dumb every lap. You kneel down and you stare at all the rigging and everything, but we still do it.
That's the thing, though, is that everybody bitches about doing it, and I just
I don't care.
You catch something on it, so it's important, right? So anyway. Corey Gibson, you once entered a competition for lazy people. I came in fourth because I didn't walk to the podium. Well done. A person 723. Have you seen Illinois Central 764? It's a 280 that got converted to piston valves and has early Baker. The Illinois Central. Somebody's going to trigger Grin Ninja with that.
I was just about to say, he's going to just appear.
He might. 764. I have not... I don't think so. Maybe I've seen this, maybe not. I don't know. Ooh, converted piston valves. Steam Locomotive or Locomotive Fandom's images are just not spectacular. Oh, goofy. It's still got the slide box surrounds, but it's obviously piston valve.
He did what?
Oh, and then the crazy long radius rod back to that's it's like it's got reverse Baker. That's cool. What a neat thing. Thank you for bringing that up. I had not seen this engine, I don't think. Not looked at it, at least, that well. How neat. Where's that at? Do I just guess St. Louis Railway Museum? The Museum of Transportation. Yes. I believe that is, in fact, at St. Louis. The canopy situation looked about right to me.
Piston valves, canopies. What the fuck's going on here?
Exactly. AP 817. The good news is Locomotive will report the defect as your train is piling up behind you. Peak efficiency. Oh, man. There's a defect in the track, as MSTS car sounds. Yeah. Well, it is in St. Louis. Thank you.
I swear that is the best thing I've ever heard.
That's pretty bad. Monon Guy, how can you join the Discord? It's discord.gg/Hyce. Put that in your browser.
Lowe's.
That'll get you there.
Oh, shit. Well, never mind.
Anyway, I'm caught up on Top Chats if you want to tell your story, Johnny.
Yes, so today I had an empty coal train going from Russell to Columbus.
Okay.
Right? 130 cars, 2 engines. Paperwork said we had 4 engines, 205 cars. I didn't bother paying attention to it. I really didn't look in PTC, honestly. And then proceeded to get suppressioned because I had the wrong amount of cars in my PTC.
I was gonna say.
So
it's mildly important.
Yeah, it's mildly important, but nobody told me that we weren't actually 2x2. They just said, your train's in this track and go. They never told me that it wasn't actually 205
so you didn't know
cars.
that. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know.
We had something similar happen. We grabbed an empty coal train out of Enola the one day, and I look at the paperwork and it says we got 100 loads, and I'm like, that's not right. I look at it and I look at the cars and I'm like, that is an empty car. This is bad paperwork. So I had to call Eddie Hyce and be like, can you get these all switched around? And about by the time we got to Altoona, it had finally gotten all switched around, and I look over at the engineer. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to ask you to update the consist and pray to God we don't go into penalty.
So, the second thing that caused me to almost get freaking fired today was following a manifest train out. It passes a signal, right, on the opposite track of what I'm on. It's on one track, I'm on 2 track.
Okay.
It passes the signal on 1 track. My signal goes from clear to red. And I just about ran it.
Yikes.
I almost had to piss in the cup.
Oh, I don't care to piss in a cup. I've done it twice now.
Well, I was doing utility last night in Conway Yard, and we get a car to run around in, and I backed into a car. I punched out the rear passenger side light. I called up the train master, and I was like, hey, I had a little I was just like, all right, just come up, give a statement at the end of the thing. And I was like, you're not going to make me piss in a cup? He's like, I'm not going to make you piss in a cup for that. I don't care. You were honest about it. That's all that matters.
Most of the time, you won't piss in a cup unless you have over X amount of dollars in damage.
That's true.
Yeah, that was it. It was just the taillight, so.
I don't know. Have you seen how much light housings go for on some cars these days?
Yeah, it's pretty high.
But even then, that's not FRA reportable. That's funny. Johnny, was there a third thing? You said there were 3.
There was a third thing. The engineer thought I wasn't going to stop in the track that we were going into quick enough. Reached over and blew us out.
Are you an LET right now?
I am a locomotive engineer qualifier. I'm already an engineer. I'm just qualifying in the new territory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he dumped you?
He dumped me and we stopped. And for context, we're doing 1 mile an hour. We're about 1,000 feet away from where we need to stop. Engineer's like half nodding in and out. Looks up, sees the yellow tie, sees a signal on the other end of it, reaches over and blows me out.
Well, that's what he gets for sleeping.
Didn't even ask any questions. Just straight up blew me out.
Cool. And then realized when you were stopped, like 50 feet later, oh,
not even 50 feet. We were like I said, we were doing 1 mile an hour, and those brakes on those empty coal cars are freaking fantastic.
Yeah, if they're empty coals, yeah.
Especially since they're all uniform. It's that is the one thing that I have heard is that bringing loaded coal trains down the east side of the mountain there at Altoona, those things go down, as I have been told, like a dream, because those cars are all uniform. They're all taken care of really well, and since it's a unit train, they rarely get broken up. It's always usually the same train. We actually had to recently, and I don't know. I did see one the other day. I don't know if we're entirely stopping it, but we're done running double coal trains up out of Shire Oaks, as far as I'm aware of. It's a mix of stuff dealing with. So when they get down to Baltimore, they need broken up because those coal trains are too big. They don't fit anywhere down there. So what would happen is they would get down to Amtrak territory. They would have to get broken up and then go down single anyway. And then every time one of those double coal trains went over Amtrak's territory, they'd have to go out there and inspect the tracks before they ran any Amtrak trains. because those trains are so goddamn heavy. They didn't want to damage the rail. And then this actually pertains to the east side of the mountain. They said that where ambient temperature from friction, from the brakes, from the wheels, from the locomotive, just bringing the train down the east side of the mountain for a single coal train was like just short of like 160 degrees or something like that. They said it almost tripled bringing a double coal train down. So they said it was like 3 something. I was like, good lord. That makes sense. I'm glad we stopped fucking around with all that tonnage on the east side of the mountain.
Wow. That's crazy.
Because I think those trains were 30,000 tons at best.
The heaviest train I've ran so far has been 28,000 tons, and it's been like 13,000 some feet.
Just remember, it only took 26 to sink the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get these last couple top chats. Thank you guys for sharing your stories. But then I'm gonna have to get out of here for rehearsal tonight. We got a country show coming up. I gotta do our last.
You ain't gonna be as country as me.
No, I never will be. I'm gonna play the guitar my best though.
My guitar.
UIKB, most track inspection in the UK is done by train. That makes sense, but the difference between the UK and the US is the
size.
Well, it's not just the size. I mean, obviously, UK's trains are much smaller, but much faster on, typically. But the thing is that the distance between trains is so frequent in the UK that it's important to get those rapid inspections, whereas the throughput's a little bit slower on our case, and everything's a lot heavier and a lot bigger, so it could do a lot more damage in one run. So inspections more frequent make sense in that case, right? So having the locomotives do it makes sense, whereas it may not be the same case here. Evil Graph 775 sounds like a slip in communication. Yeah, pretty much. Luke loves trains. Hey, Hyce, have I seen Midwest Central number 6? Not in person. I've seen pictures of it, though. It has the oil. It's the oil sack. It's very fun. 3900 class, conductor, 34 months. Nothing makes me feel old like hearing all these road disputes from people around my age. I'm so used to hearing this from the old guys. Yeah, well,
what will make you feel old is I'm not even 30 yet.
Yeah, I'm 27.
Yeah, these guys are
I'm 23.
Average RPG character. Hi, Corey. He says.
How the fuck did you become an engineer at the age of 23? You just get a young terminal or something like that, or?
No, all the old heads are getting ready to retire in about 2 years, and they needed to train more people, so they went ahead and trained me.
There you go.
They said about a quarter of our.
No. Like 90% of our engineers are going to be leaving in 2 years.
Good stuff.
Damn. Alligamer, engineer at 17 months. Have fun, move safe, and here's to 17. Thank you, my friend. And then Alligamer, last word. Will it be the last word? Probably. All right.
No.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
It's not.
It's not.
What?
I'm waiting for it to go through. Hold on.
What? I need to go touch my pedal board.
There it is.
And take my guitars downstairs and head over to rehearsal. So, but there's one more top chat from Corey Gibson. How do you keep bacon from curling in the pan? You take away their little brooms. God damn it.
I love how we started the last word thing, and it's just like, nope.
No. 84mer, last. Will it be 84mer? I don't know. Maybe. I'm hovering over the button. Ah!